In this video, without spoilers, I will tell you about the plot, game world design, progression, combat, and most importantly, about game's plot. In my opinion, is one of the most prominent and well-executed components of the game. Sometimes it doesn't feel like I'm playing the game, it feels like diving into a movie about the Wild West and becoming an active part of it. The player starts as a gang member who is running from law enforcement after the last robbery that went wrong. Stuck in an endless cycle of committing crimes to raise money to be able to run away and create a new life, but only finding more problems because of those new crimes. Bad reputation forces the gang to relocate from time to time to stay one step ahead of people who apparently dislike to be robbed and might hold a grudge against the gang. What I really liked about the storytelling is that interactions between characters feel natural. There are plenty of dialogues, and in my opinion, the people who wrote those dialogues did a really impressive job. At first, the player doesn't know anything about his gang members, and the game doesn't tell you anything directly. But gang members talk with the player, and between each other, they are planning their next steps, sharing their concerns. Through these dialogues, you will learn about their past, relationships, and motivation. Eventually, you will get to know all gang members. You will go on missions with them, sometimes they will stop for a small talk with the player, sharing their views and ideas regarding recent events. Sometimes they'll just say hi as you approach.
Hello, Arthur!
Very soon, the player starts to feel a part of a family where everyone shares the burden of their mutual criminal history. Another thing about the plot that I liked is unpredictability. You never know how events will unfold. When approaching a quest giver, sometimes I had suspicions of what is going to happen, because gang members were talking about it before they were planning it, but once the mission starts, events can take a completely unexpected turn and you end up in situations you would never expect.
Damn, that hurt.
Even side quests are fun to complete just to find out what story game developers have prepared for you. In this game, side quests doesn't mean that it has worse quality. It means that it's shorter and usually not related to the main story. There are so many cutscenes that it almost feels like watching a movie where you have to complete an easy task to reveal a little bit of plot and move the story forward. Usually you have to win a gunfight, interact with something, or ride somewhere, and that moves the story a little further. Because of that, the pace of the game feels quite slow compared to most games, but not necessarily in a bad way. It feels about right for this type of movie/game. Though I did feel like I'm constantly fighting the camera and controls. The view is rotating, changing angle and zooming in on its own, trying to show who are you talking with or the object of conversation. The character will automatically change speed while in camp or entering buildings. When riding, you will automatically start following nearby horses. I know these camera movements help with the scenery. Shot on your screen looks great, not only during cutscenes but also during casual gameplay. But it creates a sense that the game is not always reacting to my keyboard inputs. This is the price you have to pay in order to have a nice picture, I guess, which, considering that the game feels like a movie, is pretty important. Red Dead Redemption 2 takes place in a big open world map. It's unlocked early in the game and can be overwhelming at first, but the plot will organically lead you through the map, so eventually you will explore most of it just by following the main story. And even if you do need to visit a distant location, you can hire a stagecoach, which can take you to previously discovered settlements. It's not the most convenient fast travel since you must reach a settlement in order to use those services, and there are not that many settlements. So most of the time you will still be riding on your horse. quite significant amount of time. Progression in this game usually involves hunting various animals, which in turn allows you to upgrade various camp objects. You can unlock the ability to fast travel or having more resources laying around. Some give insignificant buffs or purely cosmetic changes. Upgrading Satchel will increase the carrying capacity of various things. In settlements you can buy or borrow faster horses, upgrade weapons, and hunting legendary animals will unlock new outfits. There is bonding with your horse levels that allow you to increase horse's acceleration and speed, your health, stamina, and deadeye can be increased, and so on. Most of these are just quality of life upgrades. They are not necessary and you will unlock many of them just by playing the game normally. Combat, in my opinion, is one of the worst elements of the game. Most of the time you will just aim for headshots until there are no enemies left. Despite the weapons variety, they all feel pretty much the same. Some are lever action and you will need to press the fire button twice between each shot. There might be ammunition capacity and reload speed differences, or different body shot damage, which doesn't matter anyways if you go for headshots. Later in the game, after unlocking more weapons, usually I couldn't even tell if I'm using a rifle or revolver. This is how similar all the guns felt. The only unusual feature is Deadeye skill, which allows you to slow down time for a while and either shoot the targets yourself or mark multiple targets, which in turn allows the player's character to shoot them all automatically. Overall, the game feels like a Wild West movie rather than a game where you have to do something challenging. Camera is constantly adapting to show you the focus of the objective or someone you are having a conversation with, and the storyline is the main focus of the game. Especially exciting is that you never know where the mission will lead you. Even side quests are interesting to do because of their story arcs. Story 9 out of 10. The gameplay at first glance looks very diverse. There are melee weapons, explosives, and various firearms. There's fishing, skinning, horse riding, and so on. But it usually feels like a filler activity. Most of the time, it's not even challenging. After playing the game, you will probably mostly remember more unusual tasks during missions or landscapes and buildings where those missions took place, but not the combat itself. Gameplay 4 out of 10. Replayability of this game is way below average. Since it's so focused on storytelling, once you know all the story, it's not so interesting to experience it again. And the choices you make during some quests are for the most part insignificant. Technically, you can play the game forever, but once all side quests are completed, there is not much activity left. Replayability 2 out of 10. Thanks for watching, have a nice day, put on your cowboy hat and make sure you don't